the Marlins lost to the Mets. They dropped to 1-6. Terrible start to the year. Got 2 runs yesterday. That was cool. Really.
That's where we are now.
Yeah, we always greatly. Oh, dude, it was a firestorm yesterday of runs for the Marlins. 2 runs yesterday, Leroy, and Anthony Bass, who I would say him and I not off to the best relationship right now, because I'm getting a lot of PTSD of Heath Bell here, Leroy. Now he's not quite to that level. He's just doing the sucks at baseball part. And plenty of people have sucked at baseball. Like, Jorge Julio sucked for the Marlins. Terrible. Woo. But, Jorge Julio wasn't a jerk. To get to full Heath Bell level, it's kind of like a Pokemon, right? He's just like a little cute little Pikachu right now. He's not an evolved Pikachu. Like, he's not only has to suck at baseball, but he has to blast his teammates in the media. Be like, how come you guys aren't talking about Jose Reyes hitting 240? How come? And then you also have to blast the fan base for watching Heat games in the Clevelander instead of watching your fat ass pitch. So if he hits those other 2 and he hits the triple crown of Heath Bell, it's a really fat crown. If you hit that, then we could talk about him being in that category. But he's not quite there yet, Anthony Bass. Now, nonetheless, he did get a little screwed yesterday as far as the game ending. Because he had the bases loaded, which it's unfortunate that he gave up a Jimmy Jack and he loaded the bases. So already he was up against it in a bad situation. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't screwed at the end of the game. If I may. Go ahead.
It's going to be a hard sell, although I agree with everything you said. It's going to be a hard sell with a pitcher that gave up a home run and had bases loaded with 1 out?
1 out. Yeah, that would have been the second out.
You see what I'm saying?
He still would have had to face Pete Alonso.
Yeah. And Pete Alonso on deck. So
fair enough.
Although you're complaining and your case is well warranted, right? It's a hard sell simply because you're saying if not for that call, the Marlins win the game. And I would say, based on how he had been based on how he had been pitching in the situation that you were in, you probably wasn't going to win that game anyway.
They weren't going to score another run.
But you got screwed.
But you incorrectly lost the game in a moment you should not have lost. He should have gotten the second out of the inning.
Absolutely.
He should have gotten the second out of the inning.
I agree with all of that.
But yes, he's not a great victim in this case because he put himself in a horrible spot. And also, don't tweet about it after the game, Anthony Bass. Okay? Let Sandy Alcantara, or can you say, hey, Pablo Lopez, you got a tweet for me? Do that. Nonetheless, here's Don Mattingly after the game, his reaction to well, first let's get the call. Let's get the call of what went down. Now, this is SNY. And this is the Mets broadcast. And we played them yesterday. We played them with Keith Hernandez forgetting to feed his cat and being locked out of his house.
Yeah, so they ain't even really paying attention.
So here's Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, and whoever the other guy is who's the play-by-play guy. And here's their call on SNY yesterday.
1-2 coming. And the slider in there, strike 3. Hit it. On the pitch. It hit Conforto. He made no effort to get out of the way. It was a strike, but he didn't move. And Don Mattingly is going to come out and argue the call with the home plate umpire, Ron Culpa.
The ball hit him, and it was going to be a strike. Yep.
So the Mets are celebrating. The Marlins are arguing. And unless this is overruled, the Mets have themselves a 3-2 win as Conforto is nicked by a pitch. Now, by rule, you have to make an effort to get out of the way. And that's what the Marlins are arguing.
This is a strike, and he gets hit. Look at that. Oh, you can't do that.
No, they have totally got a case.
They got to bring it back.
Totally have a case.
They're going to. It's absolute.
He stuck his elbow right into that pitch.
It's going to be strike 3.
And the umpires are conferring, and let's see.
Now, the hit by pitch is reviewable.
The umpires are leaving. Or are they
No,
going to
they're going to the headset.
I don't think they can go to the headset on this. This is not a reviewable play.
Hit by pitch is reviewable. Why can't you say hit by pitch in the strike zone reviewable?
I don't think so. I think whether he is hit or not is reviewable, but it's a judgment call by the umpire as to whether he made an effort to get out of the way.
We're trying to get it right.
Can't do that.
I'm almost certain that
you couldn't call a strike.
That they cannot overrule this on replay by saying that he stuck his elbow into an arm.
But you can call it that he stuck his arm in purpose and he's out.
Yes.
You can call that on a review, but the umpire can call that.
What are they calling it? What are they saying?
They're saying the play stands. Game's over. The Mets win it.
Wow.
That's Michael Conforto clearly stuck his elbow into it. And Mattingly's coming out and arguing, but I'm sure he's going to be.
So you can see, like, that's their call. They're benefiting off of that, and they're keeping it real. So I give the Mets broadcast crew a lot of props on that.
One of the issues with that whole thing is I'm thinking to myself, do you know how much you have to be hanging over the plate to get hit by the pitch on the strike?
It's bad. It was bad.
Like, dude, you literally your face has to be over home, right in the middle of the
and the umpire, and you know, the thing that was funny about it is the umpire was ready to punch him out, and then heard you can hear it even on the call. You can hear that click. But the umpire was ready to ring him up, and then all of a sudden the guy, he heard the sound and he goes, no, and then he sends him to first base. But you know, the other thing I wonder is I wonder about this. You know, before there was replay, umpires did used to convene. Like, they did used to, like, if they botched a call.
But wait,
are they allowed? Like,
who
are they
else
allowed
is going
to do
see that though?
I don't know. But
that's one of those calls where
at least if you're just like, oh no, in that moment, if you knew you messed up and your umpire
come together and then come to us and say, hey, I don't know if they're allowed to guys.
I don't know if they're allowed to do that though, because that can happen in the NBA. Like, the NBA has review, but every once in a while, like, if a guy misses, hey, I didn't see if that ball, who that went off of out of bounds, he'll go to the other guy, say, hey, who did you see that off?
That's a little different though. Like,
yeah, because these guys have different responsibilities. One guy is responsible for the strike zone, so it is different. But I'm wondering in that case,
and you'd be, if you're a Mets fan, let's be clear,
the lowest of the low.
You would be pissed off if the second base ump comes in and says, no, it was over the plate. He's out.
Yeah, but that's the rule.
No, but he can't call it from there. What other ump can come in and say, no, you got this wrong?
I would just confer and then have the home plate umpire say, I called him out. Because ultimately the point is, get it right. Because if you're going to review and you can't review that, what's the point? What's the point of it?
Or here's the deal. Do like they do in football. Like, reviewable plays, like when there's a fumble and you don't know if it's a fumble, let it play out. So ring him up, and then you could always go and check if he was hit.
Right.
But you've already rung him up. Then you could say he was hit, but it was a strike because you called the strike. But if you say he was hit by a pitch and didn't ring him up, then you can't go and say he was hit by a pitch, but it was a strike. So you ring him up, and then you go and confer, look at the tape, and say, okay, he was hit by a pitch, but I rung him up because it was a strike. It's all in how you call these penalties. The same thing happens in the NFL. Like, remember, they used to whistle things down. Now they just let them play.
Right.
We can always go back and fix it and put the ball down. So baseball needs to do something like that. That
Robbie,
if you can't call it, then you just continue with the play. You can always go back and change it.
Robbie, can I get Don Mattingly after the game yesterday? Here's Don Mattingly's initial reaction to the awfulness.
Well, we've seen a strike. That's what you end up seeing, a ball in the strike zone, strike. And the time before, when he got hit early in the game and they felt like he turned into it and tried to get hit on that one early in the game. And then that one there, makes a clear move to get hit, try to get hit. But for me, I guess the tough part is you can't really tell in the replay that if it hits him or not. And I guess the toughest part is it's just a strike. That simple. You would think all the replay we do that you could say that ball's a strike. I wonder what happens when they put the automated strike zone in and it breaks the plane and the guy does that. I wonder if it's a strike or not. That'd be a question for later, I guess. He's saying it hit him, and the only thing they can do, it's judgment on the other part of him turning in. They wouldn't get together on that. Only thing they could replay is if it hit him or not. And obviously it wasn't clear and convincing or whatever that it didn't hit him.
So it sounds like Don Mattingly's saying they could have gotten together and talked about it. They just
said they wouldn't even get together.
They wouldn't even get together to talk about it,
because that means they knew.
Yeah,
if they got together, they was gonna have to change it. Now,
that's disappointing.
The other thing is that the only thing that you could talk about if you got together was what the rule was, because you can't ask any other official or if it's a strike or not. So that's where it becomes tricky. Like, what are you conferring about? We know it hit him, and I know it was a strike. Besides talking about what the rule is, but having those other guys, you can't, alter the call.
Right. And the thing that's frustrating about it, though, is the umpire literally changed the call within seconds of it. Like he was calling him out and then heard the click.
Right.
But that shouldn't change the call.
That being said, this little conversation would have been great.
Get ready, Conforto.
The pitcher hadn't gotten the bases loaded and already given up a home run.
Goes without saying. Anthony Bass, it's your fault you're in that position.
Right.
I don't know why you decided to throw on the apron and decide to make the Mets a meatball parm sub. Would have been nice if we could have just, if you could have, for once in your Marlins career, gone out there in a safe situation. I know you've only had really 2 safe situations, but for once in your Marlins career, you're 0 for 2. If you would have just gone and shut the door, we wouldn't have been in this pickle.
Does he throw heat or is just wild child?
It's sink. It's like heavy sink.
I can tell you it leaves the ballpark fast.
Yeah. Bum.
No, look, all that's being said, but still in that situation, a game's not lost till it's lost, and they got screwed yesterday with when that game ended.
Again, be careful with the got screwed. They got screwed with the call, not with the game.
They got screwed when the game ended. It shouldn't have ended at that point.
It shouldn't have ended that way, but
maybe Polar Bear comes up the next at bat and he hits a grand slam. Maybe he does. Maybe he strikes out.
Well, we know the Marlins aren't getting another run. If they do get out of that inning,
too much to ask. 3 runs. Yeah. What?
Yeah, they're already deflated after going into the 9th inning with a lead and having it blown again. It's like, oh God,
one pitch.
Yeah, like one pitch gone. Tell you what, Conforto, you better get ready Saturday. You're getting one right in the ribs. I hope.